What is up, Love Giants? We are back and ready for another episode. So hang tight. Be right back for our incredible show. See you soon. Come out of it dancing to that music.
Yes.
What's up, Love Giants? Welcome to another episode of the Giant Love Chronicles with Nick Smith.
Thursday.
Yeah, happy Thursday. Here we are.
Andi.
We're back.
We're here.
We made it.
We're still together.
Another week. Only 5 breakups this week between shows, so that's not terrible.
Yeah, not bad at all.
So we're glad to have you guys here with us. So in the comments, if you want to comment and post, you're welcome to do that. Today's episode is going to be about assertion, needs, and boundaries. We're going to do a deep dive. I've got my awesome Edna glasses on today.
Edna.
Makes me feel smart. Moat. Edna Moat.
Yeah.
Or I could be Zach Baggins. I'm Zach Baggins. There's got to be a ghost in there. We spent our whole life building our credibility.
I think we just figured out what his Halloween costume is.
Yeah, I think
Super
it's that time of year. Well, should we dive in?
Yeah.
This is an interesting topic because
it comes
up all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that maybe we'll start with assertion and needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking up, I like the words. I like to figure out what the words mean. So I was looking up what need means.
Yes.
And it means a compulsion or a necessity, something that you must have from another person, kind of a need, or a compulsion that you have in a relationship. And then I looked at assertion, which is to bond together or to speak boldly is what it is. To assert, to speak boldly, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
And then boundaries, right?
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is a need to you? Like, where do you want to start?
Well, let's talk about one of your needs.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a definition or something.
Okay. I'm ready. Yep.
One's personal time, right?
Okay.
And in French, it means secret garden.
I need my secret garden. I like that.
He needs.
So did you look that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you could say, honey, I need my secret garden.
I need my secret garden. I need some alone time. Don't come in here. I'm in my secret garden. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Does it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oui.
French.
So my secret garden is in the bathroom. Oui.
Oui.
Dad jokes.
Uh-huh.
Hey, boo boo.
Well, okay. So let's start with do you want to start with, I think, one, you need boundaries to have a healthy relationship. It's for your own protection.
Yeah. So let's start with boundaries and defining what they are.
Okay.
And then we'll go into asserting, because asserting is being able to communicate what you need. And then needs are identifying your limits. Like the word boundary means a limit. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that idea because it means I have a capacity for something, or I have limits for things. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
What did you find?
On boundaries?
Yeah.
It's also about when you have boundaries, there needs to be definitely clear communication. So you can't have boundaries and fault somebody for crossing the boundaries unless those have been established in a healthy manner. Yeah. I mean, there's good boundaries and there's not so healthy boundaries, because some boundaries for some people could cross into controlling.
Right.
And so there is a difference.
Yeah. And being assertive, I need the links to the color test.
That's funny.
Yes, I still owe that to you. I'll put it in my calendar now. I think Amanda Monk dropped the one link, and so we'll get the others. Hugh, I promise.
That is funny, Hugh.
Thank you for being assertive. Yes. I'm plugging in my calendar right now because that's how I remember things. So
yes,
it'll be done by tomorrow. Not tonight, but by tomorrow. That's me asserting. Thanks, Hugh. Yeah. So a boundary is essentially where one thing ends and another begins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you get two individuals with different patterns of ways of being and doing things, and you're trying to mesh the two together. There needs to be lots of communication, and those boundaries do need to be established from the get-go. And well, not from the get-go, I think also like as you're going along with things, different things will surface.
Yeah, you don't even know, right?
You don't even know.
So it comes up as you're going through it, but it's being willing to communicate it as it does come up.
Yeah.
In different areas. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else?
Along with boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, there's different kind of boundaries. I mean, you could have time,
Okay.
personal space boundaries, physical boundaries. Yeah, physical would be kind of like some people don't like PDA, you know, so you wouldn't know. And unless you're out there and you go and pinch your butt and you're like, honey, that embarrasses me in public or whatever,
Right,
you know,
right.
like there's that. There's financial. I mean, we're dating, but definitely financial is something, you know, as people mesh together, it does need to be discussed. And it's probably one of the hardest things to discuss, you know, in couples. I would say intellectual boundaries. He's got different beliefs from what I have. We talked about those a lot at the beginning because he's like, we're so different.
We were.
So we did talk about that. Time boundaries, expectations. Okay, women and men, they don't read our minds.
What do you mean?
So, well, I can't get mad at you for expecting you to know what I'm wanting.
Right.
So I need to be assertive, like you.
Yeah.
And I need to be assertive and let you know what I'd like, what I expect out of it. So yeah, like you can't get mad at a person for not reading your mind.
Right.
But
so it's kind of internal too. Like if sometimes you don't know what you don't know and somebody highlights it, but you have expectations, you have a way of being, you have preferences. Let's call it preferences.
Okay.
You have a certain way that you like things. And then when it gets out of that, you start to notice because there's discomfort in you, right? Mm-hmm. Around things. And that's an opportunity to really assert. But I think people get a little bit aggressive, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to it. So you have your preferences and then they get pushed and then you don't assert it. I used to create boundaries to keep others out. Then I realized I didn't have that control. So today my boundaries only apply to myself.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, you know, if somebody doesn't want to respect your boundaries, that's not a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Like if I were to say, honey, I really don't
I think
like you,
especially in relationships.
Yeah. Right? Like if I tell you something like, I don't like you stonewalling me, it makes me feel, it hurts me.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to leave, you know, it really triggers something and you continue to do it.
Yeah. That's your limit, right? You're
that's
like,
my limit. Like I
limit.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to respect that, and it's not me putting something on him, like if I'm a jealous person and okay, here's an unhealthy boundary and it's me projecting. So if I was a jealous person and I say, I don't want you talking to any women out there, is that a fair boundary for me to put?
No, because my whole community is women, right? Yeah. Most of it. Sorry, Hugh, you're not.
You can identify as if you want.
Whatever works.
Right? Okay. So, but is that's not a healthy boundary. It's coming from an unhealthy place. Yeah. And I can't expect that of you. And I can't say, if you love me, you're not going to talk to any women. I mean, is that fair? No. That's not healthy at all.
It would be, well, here's what it does. It helps you to see where you're aligned and where you're not. Because I could say, like, you would hold to that. Maybe you would hold to that, and that's your boundary. Right. But for me, that wouldn't align. I'd say, well, that's out of alignment for me. So boundaries help you see where you're aligned and where you're not aligned.
Mm-hmm. Right. You definitely. And those are things that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely non-negotiables.
Yeah.
in relationships. And I think those need to be also.
So it would be an opportunity to talk. So this goes back to communication or assertion, right? So many of us are afraid to speak our truth. And assertion is that willingness to speak boldly your truth, whatever that is, to assert it. But some people have this wrong. They do it passively. They do it passive aggressively. They do it aggressively, but very few do it assertively, just simply to communicate it. Like, this is what I need. And timing matters, right?
Oh, timing's everything.
Yeah.
Should we talk about timing?
Yeah. So I have a thing called Nick Night on once a week, and I set it up.
And he told me about that from the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
Okay.
Okay.
So the reason I set that up is because I get burned out by interaction. So I just need some time for me to do whatever I do. Like watching a book, whatever, watching TV, reading a book, doing a cigar night, whatever it is. I just need some time to be able to do what I want to do without interruption or checking in. Like, so this might be fresh. Okay. So like when I think in my mind, I'm going to be assertive here.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when I think in my mind, do you care if we turn off the sound on that? What I have in my mind is I've got time to just be with me once a week in the evenings, and it's just me time, like no interruptions, no check-ins, nothing. Like, trust that I'm okay. I'm going to be back. We're good. But I need that space. So if you can have time alone, but I'm going to call you, I'm going to message you, stuff like that. Then it feels like, well, I didn't really get my space. Right. And so that's a communication thing too. There's no wrong in what's going on. It's just simply, it's learning to practice communicating what we really need and coming to an agreement on it more than anything. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we talked early on about Nick Night, which is just my recharge night. It's my night to just do whatever. And it's just a night. It's not, I don't need a full day. I just need a little bit of me time. That's it.
Yeah.
So last
night.
Timing.
Going back to timing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last night, we're hanging out on Nick Night. And I invited her over, and she says, "What's on your mind?" And I said, "Well, I just need to, moving forward, make sure that I have some time for Nick Night while she's there with me on Nick Night." So she felt
I'm like
a little bit like her.
Well,
yeah,
we could take care of Lola and then I'll just go home.
And I'm like,
he's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm going to give you your Nick Night.
Yeah.
And then it was like this back and forth. And it did take a little back and forth for you to, I said, it's like, you're telling me that right now as I'm with you, which tells me I'm inconveniencing you on your Nick Night. I'm here.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that while I'm with you. You invited me here. And now you're telling me you need it.
It was bad.
And he's like, well, moving forward. And I said, well, I could move right now. I could go right now. And he's like, no, I want to be with you. And I'm like, timing sucks.
Sometimes though, like I feel guilty asserting what I need. I feel guilty saying, look, I need this in the relationship. And so I don't want to cause harm over there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, Lori says that my communication is so passive aggressive. And it's a practice, Lori. It's a practice of being bold because you get stronger at it as you do it. And that's what we're getting to do here is learn to communicate. Don't these glasses make me look smarter, guys?
So
like
great.
I'm so smart now.
So
like
sexy.
They're a little blurry though. Let's see if I can clean them up. Participation, communication, individuality. Yeah, there is that individuality needs to be maintained. Andy's more outgoing, energetic, has tons of friends, guy friends, girlfriends, both, right? And so me learning to overcome my insecurities around that is a big thing, and communicating and not putting my stuff on her when it's not hers. Like a boundary is also, like you said, Hugh, me recognizing my boundaries so that I don't put my stuff on other people when it doesn't belong there. Right. So what does that bring up?
Well,
Thanks,
we had a
Lori.
discussion about that this morning.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring that up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You start us in.
So I had a friend
Yes.
that liked to lavish me with gifts
Before we were dating.
before we were dating.
Yeah. While we were figuring out if we were
while we were
dating.
figuring out
Yeah.
everything. So
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, man? Thank you.
Thank you, bud. So I am in a little situation, a little pickle, where this person, you know, I hate this. Okay, people.
You only share what you feel comfortable sharing too. You don't have to share like beyond.
Okay, I just find that like when I was dating, guys had ulterior motives, so they weren't kind to me just to be kind. Nice guy, right? They expect to eventually date you, so they'll do nice things and make different offers. And so I thought, ooh, well, this person wanted me to do a painting for them, and I thought, well, let's see how genuine this person is. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they still want this painting that they talked about. So it stirred up something in Nick.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, here we are.
We're raw.
So it's yeah, and protecting identities of people. You know, there's nothing that was wrong in any of this, you know, but it brought up my own insecurities. And in my insecurities, I started to talk to Andi from those insecurities. So it wasn't like she had mentioned a situation. This was somebody that was kind of courting, dating, interested in her. She broke it off when we came together. And there was a potential of working with this person again on a business deal that I got insecure about. I'm like, oh, that really hit. But in talking with Andi about it, like I recognized that it has nothing to do with her. It was an untrusting that came up inside of me because of what I was feeling as an insecurity around this person. And so I was starting to place it over on you, and it wasn't yours. So that's part of, like, it's part of communication. There is a level where I'd be like, you know, that doesn't really work for me. But this wasn't that. This was a case of, no, this person told me that they would pay me to do this, and it was to paint, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to earn some money, and I was going to reach out to them to paint.
Mm-hmm.
And as simple as that, nothing nefarious, right? But my insecurities came up, right? Because this is a guy that, you know, as another guy, maybe territorial a little bit, but not, I don't know. Like if I get too insecure, then I could get into a space of jealousy and other stuff. And then I put stuff on her that's not fair. Like she's done nothing to lose trust with me. So that lack of trust that came up was coming from my own insecurities. So that's also part of communication. And also you were very assertive about, well, that's not going on.
Yeah.
That's not me. That's not what's happening here.
And right? He said, how would I feel? And I said, well, so we did. We flipped the shoe. And I said, okay, you know, he does a lot of business. He talks to many women, all that stuff. And I said, if you had been seen, well, not even seen, you know, like gone on a couple dates or whatever, and this person had interest in you. And I kind of just flipped the shoe. And I said, and they just were interested in having you do some work for them. You know, it would be me needing to trust him. I think once I did that, it helped you see
it did
where you were, because you did change.
Yeah.
At that point.
And he, like putting on the other shoe is big. I feel like, man, I feel like Zach Baggins all of a sudden. You guys will have to look him up. Like putting the other shoe on, like how would I feel in that situation, or how would you feel in that situation, kind of helps you troubleshoot it to really see if you're being reasonable about it, or if you're reacting from your insecurities. Right. So, and Hugh, answering your question, why do we always head to the negative in our thinking, is we don't always go there, but the majority of it is, like, most of our thoughts are negative, 70% are negative. And I think it's a survival thing that our brain is scanning the environment constantly for positive and negative. And it's more wired to pay attention to the negative because that could cause harm. And so we have this tendency to latch onto the negative more quickly than we do the positive, because we might see the positive and override it with a negative, right? And I think that's just human wiring. I don't think that's, somebody overcoming that or anything. It's just we're wired to do that.
Yeah.
To look
and
for
I
the
mean, we
negative.
all come with wounds.
Yeah.
We all have past wounds. And a lot of times those wounds will surface if we haven't. And even if you've done your work, there will be different triggers and things. And you have to realize, like you said, this is the first time we're here. We've never done this before. Today's a new day. I'm a new person. I'm a new experience every day. I'm not his past. And I'm a different person. So it's not fair to take those past wounds, take that backpack and take it with you into every relationship.
Right.
And go, here's my bag of tricks. I'm expecting this and this and this, and you're going to be the one to do it all. That screws things up so badly for people.
Yeah. It becomes self-sabotaging and self-fulfilling prophecy, because now you're just predicting the future based off your past relationships.
You're almost pushing in your goal to try to protect it and put the bubble, and I'm going to keep this from happening. And so I'm not going to allow this and this and this. It is actually counterproductive, because it's creating that wedge of distrust. If you don't have trust, you're not going anywhere. And you're putting a wedge right between you and almost forcing that person away from you.
It is. So anytime you get into control, to me, control is a fear thing. Like, you're afraid. And so you control to maintain some certainty in an uncertain situation. And so we manipulate it, we control it. And so if you can recognize that you're not flowing with life, you're not allowing life to play out, you're not really looking at the situation for the current situation, you might be bringing the past forward and then pulling that into the relationship and causing additional harm when it didn't need to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, like, some of my boundaries, if I were to think of it, I mean, you love your time.
Yeah.
I love being with you, but I also understand I kind of do something silly. I kind of go, well, I don't want to be with you either.
And then she gets a bobblehead, like, I don't want to be with you. And so that's how I know, like, you're lying right now. So I don't want to get married. I don't. That's exactly how it is. So it's cute. It's endearing. And it opens the doors to some conversations. Like, I don't need time alone. I'm totally good.
Don't look like that. He's exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating.
But, like, yeah. And I think, so we also create some boundaries, like, from past things, like I said. So
yeah,
if you were to hit me, which I haven't been hit, so I'm just saying, you have your boundary. That's an obvious one where you're just like, you hit me, I'm out. Or
it'd be a non-negotiable, right?
Non-negotiable.
Okay.
Say if you're to start stonewalling me or start just doing some toxic things, right. Those are obvious boundaries. But
that's using wisdom, though. Like, it's not like you ignore your past and don't pay attention to things, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Non-negotiables, right?
Yeah.
But finish your thought first.
I think those are just, and also they're obvious things. Nobody likes those traits in a relationship, but sometimes one person may have grown up getting stonewalled by a parent or gaslit or whatever it may be, and they naturally do it to their partner without even realizing it.
Right.
So that's when a discussion comes up. But if that person's not willing to listen to that discussion and they're like, yeah, whatever, get over it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. This is on you.
That's a joke. That's a joke. Right. Okay. So we were talking this morning too. And, I have this tendency we talked about personalities last week. And I have this tendency to overtalk things. I want to talk things through to completion. When you're complete, you're complete. And so there could be this balancing of those two worlds. Like, I might tend to talk just because it's in my nature to talk when I really could be complete. And it would be okay for me to be complete. right?
Yes,
And there's
yes.
times where you're complete, where you really could open up and just go a little deeper on the conversation, right?
Yeah, you did that a couple times yesterday where I'm like, we solved the problem.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about it anymore.
It's just done,
And
right?
you're like, almost like you want to continue talking about it. Like it's unresolved.
Uh-huh.
We agreed.
Yeah.
We either agreed to disagree or just have
Yeah.
agreed to not be on the same page, and you have your beliefs and I have my beliefs.
Yeah.
But there's a boundary right there, you know, like he does have his beliefs.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about
Yeah,
any of
let's
these?
do it.
I mean,
Let's
there
do
are some belief systems
beliefs.
that come up, you know, religiously. We're both raised LDS. You're more active currently than I am. I'm definitely not. So I have different beliefs around religion. And I have some things where I'm flexible too, like praying over food. Like, it's great. Let's do it. Let's do it. Not a big deal. Going to church on Sunday, probably a non-negotiable for me.
Ever?
What
if it's for a family thing?
No, I would go for important events and stuff, you know, but if it's my daily, it's just not, that's not where I want to be, you know. We've had conversations around sexuality and pornography and things like that. And there's really strong views of, you know, where pornography could cause harm to a relationship. And I could see that. Right. And I also, you know, I have a differing view of, I think we put so much shame on people that it causes problems where it didn't need to be as big as it was. And so we have, like, there's a balancing and a listening from both sides of the fence that we get to dance around, because we don't fully agree. Like, I love cigars. Totally does not love cigars. Not the smell. Don't come home. Don't come over.
Maybe
if
you
you
should
smell
do
like a
that on
smokestack.
Wednesday.
Maybe I will do it on Wednesday. But, you know, we have different things. And so when it comes to these, here's how I see it: is the word belief comes from the Germanic glauben, which means to hold dear. So if she holds something dear, and I come into the house with a baseball bat to her curio cabinet full of beliefs and just smash it up because they're not important to me, then we're probably not going to be together very long, right?
Really not.
And vice versa. If you came in and you're like, well, that's a stupid belief, and just smash my curio cabinet, I'd be like, but that was mine.
Yeah.
I had that since childhood.
Yeah.
Right? It had dust on it. My mom gave that to me. That was the original dust on that thing.
I feel like it's a corpse.
Yeah.
We gotta dust it. You can keep it.
But there is a dance,
Yeah.
right? Between that's the assertion, is communicating between, like, these are my beliefs, these are your beliefs, and really talking that through.
Also, I mean, it does help us. Like, we do talk a lot. So just trying to understand where the other person is coming from. And not necessarily, it's not each other's goal to try to sway each other to think differently. I think what helps is to find that common ground, to be able to just recognize where that person's from and where they are and accept it right where it is.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And just respect, that's where their belief lies, and just respect it. Because when you start disrespecting the person's way of being and certain beliefs and stuff, then you start into belittling the person and you shame them, and that's not a good place to go either. So there's got to be a safe space there.
I told you early on, like, I feel like we have a relationship of a fruit fly. Like, it happens so fast. Like, everything cycles through so fast. Like, fruit flies have a life cycle of 24 hours. And here we are 3 months in, and we're already having these conversations. I mean, we've talked about just about everything. We've talked about sex. We've talked about religion. We've talked about belief systems. We've talked about prenups. We've talked about agreements and relationship and marriage and food and, like, anything, like
everything,
entertainment. And so there's a lot of communication. And, you know, it's interesting because you either find out with the person that you're misaligned, or that you align enough to move forward. Like, I don't think there's, like, the perfect flawless marriage. I think it's two people that are able to come together with their differences and work with that. but I don't know. We're 3 months in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
So as a creation, though, I think this is very conscious. It
Very
has to be very
conscious.
conscious, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely super. And just coming here and talking with you and letting it out and laying it out,
It's a journal.
it is a journal, and it's very vulnerable because neither one of us are perfect, and we're laying our issues out.
Right.
And, everybody's been here.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through this.
Yeah.
And a lot of relationships, like, we're just trying to figure it out too.
Holy glasses. I didn't like going and being told, okay, so like this would establish your belief system and your values, right? So we look at values as what's important to you. A belief is what you hold dear. It almost has an automation to it. Like a belief has a free pass, so to speak. So you didn't, as I hear this, Hugh, I hear this as you didn't like going and being told how bad of a sinner or person you were. And the world was already convincing that you wanted value and worth. So that's where you start to establish your values. Same here. Like I have a different version of that. I could easily say they did that to me, but I did that a lot to myself in relation to that, to religion. So it wasn't necessarily a religious thing. It was just simply, I didn't feel like I fit into that. So it was, for me, I established a new value system around it. It was hard. I went through a phase where I had zero beliefs and then had some experiences where it's like, whew, because that would be a non-negotiable for you. It
would be very hard if all of a sudden you came to me and told me you're atheist. I don't think we'd align too well.
And that,
it would be sad.
Yeah.
Be very sad.
Yeah, because we're great people.
Let's say go to hell and leave.
And I'd be like, I don't believe in hell.
Well, so I got my backpack. I'm ready.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe in anything.
Where am I going again? Because yeah, it's but again, it's not that people are right or wrong. And there are some things where people get really manipulative about their views, but it's really finding out if you align or not, if there's a match or not. And if you can work with it, if the tolerance, I think, would be the level of, like we say, a limit. A boundary is a limit.
Yeah.
Like, is it within the limits that I can handle?
Like, say I want a cigar, and say pretend we're married or living together.
You do?
No, you'd be like, damn,
I just got
you
excited.
Just got hot. Yeah. But all of a sudden, if you decide to start smoking in the house,
yeah,
that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, well, it would drive me nuts too. So as we're clear here, I would want to smoke in the house because for me, I don't like the smell of smoke in my car or even on my clothes. I prefer to come home and shower and clean,
Because it's a filthy habit.
You're smashing my curio right now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you can't have that.
Well,
I'm harassing you. Okay. Or, we're together and we're married and you decide to start taking up gambling. That hurts both of us. So that would be one of those boundaries, right?
It would be definitely something to talk through as a couple, because it would be one person. It's smudging.
Was it?
I'm smudging. That's exactly it, Hugh. I'm smudging myself. So, yeah. But you hope early on that you're authentic enough with the person and transparent enough that you know what you're working with.
Yeah.
And
I think, yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you think that a lot of people, they go into a relationship and they cover what these boundaries are, things they don't like.
They put on a
show and they're not authentic about themselves and what they expect. And once that person falls for them and they're like into it deep, then it's like, you know what? I hate sex. I hate the way you chew. Whatever it may be. I just want to sit on the couch and eat bonbons for the rest of my life. Whatever it may be. And I hate going to the gym, and I
really didn't like all those things.
I never liked anything I said I liked. And and you're just like a totally different person, which happens.
All right.
It's sad.
I'm going to come clean.
Okay. Well,
I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
No. But there are some areas where I do get cautious about sharing. I worry about sharing because I worry about how it would be received.
Okay, so
Right.
do you have anything else you want to disclose right now?
No. I don't want to throw us like on the, but I'm just saying that there are, and you and I talk about those offline.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to share everything here, guys. So we may share some things, but we don't have to share everything. But there are some things where it's like I do get a little nervous about sharing because I do know some of your belief systems and values, and I want to be cautious about my beliefs and values because they're mine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make sure that if I share them with you or with anybody, that I do it in a space where it can be received.
Not on a Wednesday night.
Not on a Wednesday night. Yeah.
When I'm with you and you
Yeah.
tell me you need your space.
Yeah, that was bad timing. But, and after I invite you over, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, come over. I need my space. Okay, go home now.
Timing is everything.
Right? Yeah, chicken curry, not bombs. Hi, Amber. Yeah, it's really
Chicken curry.
most of this is coming down to communication.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's communication, and it's two people being willing to hear the other person. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it, attach to it, believe it, but being able to hear it, understand it, and hold space for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allows you to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we know Nick's. Yeah, boundaries, compromising. So let's talk about that. To compromise would be to like give up. You feel like you have to give up something, right? In order to be there. And you know, compromising is almost like it feels like a loss, like I'm losing something. Whereas an agreement would be, okay, let's agree around this thing to do this. I can do this. I'm going to do this. And you come to an agreement around it versus a compromise. How do you see that?
Well, this is personal experience.
Yeah.
I was in a very toxic relationship where that person wasn't a healthy individual and they expected me to agree with them. However it looked like. Don't wear 2 bras to the gym. Don't talk to anyone of the opposite sex. Don't go to Walmart in your gym pants. Don't just all these to me felt like they weren't bad things, right? But I was told to do all these things. And if I didn't, then it would be a fight. So then just to keep the peace, because I'm a white personality, I would be like, okay. But true Andi was just like, damn it, that's not right. That's, I'm very uncomfortable with that. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. So then I continue, I'd do it to please them. But then I didn't see anything wrong with it. So naturally I would be like, well, I talked to somebody of the opposite sex. I taught at the gym. There's people everywhere. You talk to people. And they were all my people. But like, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to run to Walmart and I've got my gym clothes on, but I need to go get this before work. And so I do it. And the thing is, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. So in my core, I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, but that person would be stalking me and they would find out somehow, or they'd see me come home and I'd be wearing it. And then they'd be like, oh, you went to Walmart, you went here, or they're stalking me. And then you're in trouble again. So this cycle kept happening. And then it's like, you're constantly disrespecting me. And I'm like, because I was fighting my true self, like my true beliefs. Like I did not believe it was wrong.
Yeah.
So what was my point? No,
well, that the agreement can become manipulation.
Yeah.
That the word agreement might be used, but it's not an agreement.
It's not agreement. And you're kind of
forced
an expectation
into doing it
and
it's a manipulation, right?
Yeah.
So love this explanation. Who are you mad, upset with, them or yourself? That's a great question.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating going through that. Once I stepped away from that, I had an experience where I went on a date and I actually moved this date up to a little earlier time because I had a massage scheduled. Okay. And this was so interesting how these past things come up. But I told him, I said, I've got a massage late at night, and he thought that was weird, but I met him, went bowling. And then I ran and went to go get my massage automatically because I have been, what's the word where you're just accustomed, conditioned.
Yeah.
I've been conditioned. So I get there to the massage table and I take a picture of the massage room and I send it to the guy. That made me realize,
holy cow. Yeah.
Like, okay, I was pissed at myself for doing that. I did not owe anybody that explanation because I spent my years explaining and trying to prove myself and everything, that I was actually mad at myself for allowing that, for me to automatically send a picture that is unnecessary to show, hey, look, I am getting a massage. So I was pissed at myself for that. You do what you can do when you're in the situation and everything, but it was me fighting. It wasn't me being allowed to be myself. So it was a constant fight because you have somebody else trying to control it. So it was a battle.
So yeah, when that happens, and when I teach the 12 journeys, like something like that is, we're so hard on ourselves over stuff that we've done, that we've been conditioned into, or we had a trauma response to, or our past came up and came into the situation. And then we get really hard on ourselves for having that come up. And especially in relationship, because you don't want this person to abandon you. You've got attachment styles showing up, whether it's anxious or avoidant, or, it's, or we're healthy, right? Secure. Mm-hmm. So when that stuff comes up, there's a chance to just really be gentle with yourself and just allow room for it. You did what you did, right? And so I think we just cause additional harm when it's like we were conditioned into that. There were some things that happened that had to show up a certain way. And that would be hard, mm-hmm. to know you don't want to do that. Like, that you no longer have to keep that boundary. You do it anyway. And then you're mad at yourself for doing it. Right. So it's just like additional harm to the situation. It's like, oh, that's so hard. Right.
It is very hard because you are fighting against what your belief system is.
And then trying not to bring that into another relationship. Like, you've done that with me a few times where you've sent me things or checked in and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How come you did that? What happened?
Yeah. Or apologizing a lot.
Yeah. Or on a Wednesday night, I'll just go home. I'll get Lola and we'll go home. When I say I need Nick time, I don't mean immediately right now. But you were ready to pack up and go. And it's like, no, that's not what I want. And I think we put these unfair conditions on other people when they weren't the ones that did us harm. Right? Like, they weren't the ones that hurt us. Conditioning, control, conformity, containment, all red flags. Yeah. I think red's my favorite color.
I was like a freaking bonfire. Right. That's why, thankfully, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here with you today.
Yeah.
And it was lessons learned.
Yeah.
It made me who I am. And you learn definitely what you will accept and will not accept in a relationship.
Dudes, if you want to look like a saint, date a girl.
Date my ex.
After she's dated her ex. I am easy. You wonder, like, am I too much? Am I, I don't know if many of us do that, but we're like, am I chasing her away?
Just send them to my ex and then you'll look like a saint.
Yeah. Maybe he's watching right now. But yeah, just, it's really, when we look at needs are internal. So what your needs are, where your values are, your boundaries, your desires, all of that internally. Assertion is the ability to communicate that. Boundaries are where it's communicated in a way that the other person now knows where your limits are, right? And what your needs are, and that you honor that. Like, if somebody won't honor that, to me, you're not listening to me. You're not honoring what I need. Not as a manipulation, but as a communication.
you're not communicating.
Yeah,
The
it's
other
like you
person's
just
not
bulldoze
hearing.
everything I say. It's like, how can you do that to me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important too when it comes to this to create agreements. So and sometimes when I ask for what I want, I feel really guilty.
He does. And
Really
I'll
guilty.
be like, why?
Yeah.
But that's what he's conditioned to do.
Yeah.
Like he feels guilty, like he's asking something big. He doesn't want to hurt my feelings.
Yeah. And it has me pause in
Yeah.
sharing it because I feel guilty. I don't want to cause
Yeah.
harm. I don't want, you know, like you would literally be with me 24/7 if we could. If we
Nope.
could have a surgery. Nope.
That's not true.
But if we could have a surgery and be attached to the hip, that would be a thing in this relationship. Right? And I've got things I've got to get done too, you know, with the community and work and kids and
jump
raising
into
kids
a
and
gunny sack and
Yeah.
just do our day together.
so it's really important that I communicate what I need, because if I don't and I just allow, so here's something I heard: you create, you promote, or allow everything in your life. You either create it, you promote it, or you allow it. And if I allow it when inside I really mean, no, I need some time for me, and I allow it, then I get resentful and hear over something I didn't speak.
Oh.
And so it's my problem for not speaking it. And then sometimes I get afraid to speak it because I feel guilty for speaking it. And so that's where
Like
you
a
and I are
double-edged
learning
sword there.
to communicate,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
what does that bring up for you?
Well, I hope over time that you start feeling, I know you feel safe with me, but there's things that will come up and you'll be like, you worry about how I take it on my end.
Right.
And even, I don't know if we covered this, but some things he'll take, and I love it. It's so sweet. But he'll stew over it and be feeling like he hurt my feelings and everything.
All night.
And he'll like not sleep all night. And then morning comes.
Yeah.
And he'll say something. I'll be like, oh. It didn't faze me. Like it didn't faze me. Like I went to bed. I'm like, okay, you need to go to bed.
No lost
night.
No lost peace.
Yeah, I didn't lose anything. So he a lot of times will kind of create that, but then it's those moments in opening up and talking about it.
Yeah.
He realizes Andy's not as high maintenance as you think I am.
And it is up to me to learn that, because if I held on to my old value systems or beliefs, then that would be happening and I wouldn't hear it because I'd be in my old belief systems.
Yeah.
And so it's up to me to learn in the new environment that no, it is safe. It is okay. Right. And Lori, yeah. I'm not your ex-wife. Right. And
yeah.
So it does get carried forward and it causes harm, you know, and so let's say good now, just get married.
Yeah, that solves everything.
Yeah. Thank you, state of Utah, for your certificate. That tells us now
Elena,
we're officially in a relationship.
You could make a certificate for us.
Yeah. So and that's another thing we communicate around too is marriage. You know, we see people get married really quick. I've seen people get married really quickly and they haven't had a chance to really get to know each other. I'm not saying it's the wrong way, but I see a lot of divorces come out of it. You know, 5 months, a year later, they're like, I don't know who I married. He's crazy. It's statistically impossible that every man's a narcissist, guys. It's statistically impossible that you all are empaths. So that we all have traits of things, right? And so just recognizing that we all have the traits allows us to own our stuff, talk about it.
Yeah.
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 Do I talk too much?
But I thought we're going to get married and get divorced and then.
Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to get married, get divorced
right after,
get that part out of the way. And then just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep going.
So become a statistic.
Yeah.
Can't say we're getting divorced because we're already divorced.
Yeah. We're separated already.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with taking it slow, right, Alina?
Nothing wrong.
But it's your pace, your relationship. You're the one that feels it out. So like, I don't get to say what's right for you. I just am sharing my experience over here and my views about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we know our commitment to each other.
Yeah.
So a piece of paper. Eventually. Maybe.
Yeah. You don't want to get
If our
married.
worlds can collide.
Huh.
No.
I just want to capture it.
I don't want to get married.
I just want to capture it on video right here.
Yeah.
Got to be time for a break, right? Yeah. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're done.
Yeah.
See you guys. Good show.
Yeah.
Oh, it is time for a break. I mean, we've been 50 minutes in here.
Oh,
Yeah,
we had a baby.
we did. So this is a new company that we started. Do you want to tell them about it?
It is called, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna show you the back of my
Can you
shirt.
see it? I don't know if you can see that.
So that's a T.com.
Well, we had to have a way to get our inappropriate side out.
Yes.
So we started a t-shirt company on all the shirts of things we would wear, but we can't say because we're afraid we'll get canceled. So yeah.
We just had a little baby company. It's called That's a T.com. And that's a little project we have together. So if you guys need to special order anything T-wise, and we're also looking into pajamas. Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
Go to That's a T.com.
.com. Yeah, that's cool. It's all funny stuff. So we try and find funny shirts to put on there. So you'll see everything on there. Is it a boy? It's both. It's for boys and girls.
It's for both.
Is it a boy or a girl? It's
See,
both.
Mine kind of goes along with me. Step off my blanket.
So the story is Andi loves concerts at USANA. There's the grass up on the field. And so everybody brings blankets. So she'll show up early and lay out her blanket to get a good spot.
I have a couple friends that do that.
She tends to get a little assertive or aggressive when it comes to people getting on her blanket.
Who gets on my blanket?
Who gets
I
on
want
her blanket?
my people on my blanket.
Yeah.
And when some unwelcome person hops on there, I am like, I have to hide my face. I get a little like territorial and bugged. You know, it depends on the person. Like if there's plenty of room, but if they're in my space, I don't do well.
And I made a shirt.
Can you see it?
No, somebody said to me, I'll say somebody.
Okay.
Nick, your life would go a lot better if you got good with God. And I was like, you didn't just say that. I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty good. So I made a shirt that says "Got to get good with God." So you'll see that in there. But we're just, you know, it's a place to joke around and have fun. So if you want a shirt made or you have an idea, you can tell us and we'll
and they're super soft. Super soft. This is a medium that I'm wearing. I could probably go small, but very comfortable.
Yeah.
Super soft and it won't shrink.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Anything?
I feel like
I feel pretty complete. I feel like we've hit our limit.
I feel like you complete me, honey.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Well, you know.
Two individuals completing.
So you learned that you could go to your secret garden.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't want to be in his secret garden and he wants to say, "Hun, I want to hang out with you Wednesday," then I could come into his garden with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an important space for me, my secret garden. It just helps me reset so I can show up more powerfully.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I get resentful and not very fun.
No, I think we all need our secret garden.
Yeah.
Everybody needs their space.
I like that.
You know, we do.
And whatever.
Just to make us better, however that looks like, just to become better people for
like
everyone
you going
else.
with your friends, right? Like
just
going out and
little outlet.
Yeah. Being around people. You get energized by people.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I have to be like, "Hun, go.
Enough.
Go. You need to go."
You asked me to be with you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
See that? I literally said that.
Literally said that. No, not Monday. Monday was, I didn't see Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to see you Thursday, Friday. And I didn't feel bad at all when he said that.
Do we have a theme song? Two less
Moving on,
lonely
people in the world, and it's gonna be fine.
Just hitting that on the spot.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if we do or not, but that's the one that comes to mind.
If you guys want to vote for a good theme for a song,
Yeah.
Chris, we'll take that into account. Or a t-shirt.
Why you're not good with God. That's it. Stay out of the cave of justice. That's funny, Hugh. Guys, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel complete in this episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
No.
I think we're going to also start inviting some guests on where we can actually be coached.
Yeah.
By some of these guests.
Yeah.
Inside of a relationship. And we feel like that might help you too in your own relationship. And even if you're single, this serves. It doesn't, like, you don't have to be in a relationship for this stuff to work. It's really, this is stuff that applies anywhere in your life. Work, kids,
relationship,
right?
With kids, coworkers, parents, siblings. I know I have created boundaries where I feel like, and this is my own little thing, is if I have somebody on social media sit there and tear me apart for me and what I do, I'm like, you don't have to step off my blanket, right?
Bye, Felicia.
Bye. I am like, you don't like it, don't be my friend. So I just, okay, see ya, bye, and I block them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that negative energy in my life. I've spent enough time being told what to do, where to wear, how to do it, how to speak, that when someone, they feel like they're being helpful, I don't feel like it's helpful, especially if they feel the need to do it on social media.
Yeah.
Do it private. And you could say, I'm worried about your soul and you need to get right with God. You know, still, I could listen to you and go, okay, you don't like what you're seeing. See ya. Bye.
Yeah.
So.
But that's knowing what works for you.
Yeah.
Right. That's knowing what works for you and then communicating that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Communicating it by a block.
I warn people.
Right?
You're dead to me.
Alan Thompson. If you like a lot of swear words, Alan Thompson's awesome. Funny guy. You'll come out a trucker, I promise. He's a good dude. He's very Australian. Put a zapper in the blanket when someone not allowed.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, guys, thanks again for being on. So we will be back next week. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet until we get there. So we will pick a topic or we will have a guest on and we'll surprise you. It's the same time, 7:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. There will be some times where we need to adjust.
Yeah.
So that actually might be
Thursday
one.
I think so too for me.
So we could be skipping a week here, but no, we're coming back.
We will let you know.
Yep.
We will let you know.
So these will have to have a flexible time on them because there's a lot going on in both of our worlds and we're adjusting around.
I'll be in my secret garden.
Available time. She'll be in her secret garden. Yeah.
I was kidding.
It's Andrea, have money for a walk for Wendover. Nice.
Woo!
Nice. That's awesome.
Is it for you or for me?
Yeah.
Let's all walk to Wendover next spring.
Cool. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you being on here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, honeys.
Thanks for being open.
We'll have to come up with a song.
Yeah. 2 less lonely people in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next show.